Hello fellow developers. Let's see how we can upload an Excel file and read it as a JSON using SpringBoot. Let me generate a project just with web dependency and let's import it. And let's create a basic structure that has a controller, a servers, and a utility for us to work with. Let's go ahead and annotate them as controller, servers, and component. Let's go ahead and create a post mapping, let's say for upload. And let's get a request param with a file, optional parameter, then multipart file, a file. Let's go ahead and auto-wire the service that we just created. So we'll use a constructor-based injection. Let's declare the service and auto-wire it. Let's go ahead and create a method that takes a file and processes it. Let's create a temp directory which throws an exception. So let's throw it in the controller as well. Let's resolve this to a file, then to file and assign it to temp file. So now that we have a temp file, we can go ahead and include the Apache POI. Let's include POI latest version and OXML that POI internally uses. Let's synchronize. Let's go ahead and create a workbook from the factory. The workbook is basically a full Excel of which we are going to read the first sheet. It's an iterable sheet. So we just need the first one. So let's go ahead and get the first sheet at index 0 and assign it to sheet, where a sheet is basically iterable rows. So whatever is iterable can be changed into a stream. So let's go ahead and make a stream of rows. And given a row, let's get a cell stream out of it, because row is nothing but a iterable stream. So given the cell stream, let's assume all the values are string for now. So let's get the string cell value. If it's numeric, we have to use cell.getNumeric value. Let's just return this for now and collect it to a list. And we'll assign this. And let's go ahead and print it. Okay, let's run the server and see what it does. So this is the Excel file we'll be working with. A basic header and a bunch of rows. Everything's a stream. Let's go ahead and read this. Let's run the router at 15,000 and let's upload it. It says there is no file found at the temp because we haven't transferred it yet. Let's go ahead and transfer the multipart file to the temp location. We'll transfer it. Now the temp should have it. Let's restart the server. That's up. Let's try again. Okay, our console should have an output and it has the list of rows. So let's go ahead and change this to a map so that it's easy to work with. To make it as a map, we need the headers first. So let's get the first row, that is the header. Let's use find first from stream. That gives us a find. Since it's optional, we have to use get. And let's make a list of string that's just a header values. So this will be our keys for all the maps. Of the cell class, get the string value and collect it to list. Now that we have the header cells, let's go ahead and print them. If you notice now, we are using the row stream in two places, one for find first and one for each. So this should result in stream already used or closed. So what we basically need is a supplier, a reusable stream. So let's go ahead and use this supplier in the upload util that we just wrote. And let's call it stream supplier. So given an iterable of rows, it should give us a stream supplier. Let's say it null for now. And let's move the stream support logic here since that is a util. So given an iterable row, it should do a stream support. And then given a row stream, it should give a supplier. Should we do this for cell? Nah, we'll do generic. So now it will work for both cell and a row. So let's call this iterable. It says row string, we'll come back and change it. So let's go ahead and auto wire the util. Let's call it upload util. And let's auto wire it. So now we can go ahead and use this. Instead of that will be just get stream. But do we actually need the stream? We actually need the stream supplier, right? So what we can do is change this to stream supplier and then pass the sheet, which of course we have to change as supplier of stream. How do we get a supplier? We just need to say .get and then it gives us a stream. So this is reusable now. Let's see if it works. And yes, it works as expected. Now let's convert this into a map. I mean a list of map. So since we have the header cells now, we don't need the cell values here. Instead, we need an int stream. An int stream iterates from 0 to a given limit. So for the limit, we need the size of the headers. Then given a range of 0 to the count, cell count. Let's box it so that we can use .map and other methods because int stream doesn't give you the .map. Let's collect to map, where key being the header and value being the current cell value at the corresponding header. So let's get this list of string as cell list and given an index, this should be header.get and this should be value list, which is our cell list.get index. So for 0th header, it will get the 0th column for the current row. Let's go ahead and print it. Let's see how it works. And it works as expected. We get a map, a list of map. So let's go ahead and change this to map. Then let's return this. Then let's collect it to list. Let's return that as well and change the return types in controller and service so that we get a JSON response. So this should give us a JSON response. Now let's go ahead and refactor the remaining stuff. Let's skip the first row. So this is getting called again and again. So we can make use of the util to get a number stream given an end limit. Let's call it end. Should give a boxed. And let's create a sublayer of the same so that it's a reusable. Let's return given nothing, give a string. So once we get the string, let's change this to get iterator supplier of the end limit, and let's get the string, and it does the same thing. So we can do a static import with Command Shift N on Eclipse, and we can refactor everything to method reference so that it doesn't need index, or always it's going to get index. So let's refactor the remaining wherever required. Header row and row, let's run it. And it works as expected. So that's how we read an Excel file and render it as a JSON using Spring Boot. If you have a numeric value, you have to change it to numeric, and if date and date, and that's it. Thank you so much.